Hello everyone, welcome back. Today, this is my first challenge, code challenge I'm going through. There was a couple of my ex development team members as well as my customer team members that called me, that reached out to me, asking me to help them understand hacker rank algorithms. So, which have been done this kind of exercise for my career. So I thought it might be useful, as well as it's also a recording for me. I'm not gonna talk more about how to write a code here, but I'm gonna talk more about understanding the logic behind the problem. So if you see this, this is called a sales by match. So if you read this problem statement, I'll share this HackerRank URL as well as in my description. But if you see here, there are two arguments has been taken uh, to provided input. One is n, when is always a size of this array. What do you see here? So, and the second problem solving, maybe let me explain a bit what is going to be. If you see here, you have an array 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2. So you have to group them as a group of a number of ones you have it, and number of twos you have it, and number of threes. So if we put it back in format, we have a ones of number one, we have a count of a 3, and we have a number 2, we have a count of a 2, and number 3, we have a count of a 1, right? So we have to create that kind of a number grouping. Then we have to call out the number of pairs of a 1 we have it. For example, let's assume to make it as easy for you to understand, let's assume you have a pair of you have a socks which you wear along with your shoe. Each number you see here, group them as a one color pattern. Let's assume number 1 is a red, number 2 is a blue, and number 3 is a green. Right? Let's stick to RGB so it's easier for us. So I have socks of a red, blue, red, green, and blue, right? So now I want to group the socks of a colors into one. So I have a red of a 3, then I have a blue of a 2, and green of a 1. That means something, one pair I have to wear, one to my leg, one red socks, one blue socks. So now to group them, I should not wear that. So I need to know how many pairs of socks we have it. So that's going to be easier for you to understand. So this is where you can see here kind of a green or something. So if you see here, there are 9 here, the input, you get it, 10, 20, 20, 10, 10, 30, 50, 10. So you have 10 of a 4, and you have 150, and 3 of a 20, and 130. So the output should be 3 because the pair is here. I can make a pair of 10, 2 pairs I can make it, and 120 pair. So we're going to do coding here, the solving. The algorithm I'll talk about first. Then we'll talk about also we'll do it in Java also. All right. So I want you to understand first what do you want to do. All right. First, you need to know a pair of socks, how many pairs you have to write it, because it's a function here. You have to write it. So let's consider you have to write a pairs of a socks, right? So I'll say pairs, I'm setting a value by default as a 0, right? So now I need to return that as a pairs. What are the value I get it? So I'll say pairs, right? Now between my initialization of a pair as well as my return. So the first step I need to do, as if you guys have remembered, we need to group them first. Forget about how many pairs I have to identify. First, I need to group them. How many of a tens I have it, or how many of a 20 I have it, or how many of a 30. So let's hit grouping them. So to group them in a Python, we need a dictionary, right? So let's call a dictionary of a colors dictionary, right? So if you're doing in Java, technically you can do that with a map, or you can call it as a hash map. Generally, I use the interface as a map, right? So once you've done declaration or initialization of your variables, let's go uh, for loop, which we have to group them, all right? So I need to know a number. So I'll call a number in my array, which that is my input as per my definition. So once I have this array, then the next step is going to be check the number is in my array. So I'm going to do this number check, number in colors dictionary. All right. So once this is done, if I have it, then I need to call it color dictionary of that number. What are the, if it's a 0 or 1. So I'll just call that number if it is, because we are talking about a 10, 20, and 30. So the number is a 10 here. So if I have a number, then I have to add to 1. So I'm doing it plus 1, right? So if I do not have it, so what should I do? Just I need to add a 1. It's not going to be any more plus 1, right? It's a first number, we are adding it. So I'm going to do this as a number and just call dictionary of a num equals to 1. Okay, there is a typo or there's an error here. Okay, I missed this column. In Python requires a column. All right, perfect. So till here we are done this part. So what did we do? Till here we are done completing our for loop, right? For end we did it, end of a for. Now that means we have an object at this level. Let's assume if your input is, we are talking example, so ones. So we'll have a 1 of a 3 till here, 3. Then we have a 2 of a 2 and 3 of a 1. If you go back to our example here, right? This one, the array, whatever input we are getting it. All right, so this is what it's going to print. Right? Now we need to find pairs, right? So we're going to run one more for loop where count, which is technically we are counting them in colors dictionary. So if I use this, what will happen, right? So we'll talk about that. So if I use a count dictionary, this one is picking up 1, 2, 3, which are technically a keys. They're not a values, okay? But we need a values. We don't need to worry about the keys as per the problem statement. So what we need is we need values. So now we are taking a values. We're not going to do a value keys. We're going to do values, which is a 3. Technically 2, 1 is quite opposite. Okay. Okay. Now we'll call up pairs, right? So we need a pairs, right? So when we are running a loop, so we need to add them to a pairs. So we'll do that. So now I'll use a count divided by 2. All right. Perfect. So do you see any error on this in Python? So if you are a Java guy, the count by 2 is not an error. But there's a one catch you have to remember in a Python. When you say count by 2, if my count is, let's assume 3 by 2, this will return for me 1.5. But I need only integer. I don't need a decimals here, right? So if I need to avoid a decimal, then I need to do a 2 double slashes, right? So now this is going to give me, I'll put this one, 3 by 2 equals, it will return me a 1. All right, let's see what we have done, whether I'm going to get this value or not. And good part of hackerrank is it's going to run through our test cases. So I'll run through a test case. Let's see what it's going to be. Okay, it's still processing. All right, what did you do mistake? Line 40, line 28. Okay. No, it's straightable. Oh, all right. We missed a function. That's good. This is what we're going to do that, right? So perfect. We got our both the test cases we run through. Both we got it. Let's submit the code. It'll run multiple test cases. We should be good. Perfect. All our test cases are worked. So I'll try to repeat the same thing in a Java. I'll go to Java 8. Should see here. Pretty much the same, but I'll do a little fast forward here. So int pairs equal to 0. The same thing as we discussed, but I'll use a map here. The map, it's technically a dictionary as per the Python. So I'll use an integer, and I'll use two integers because I need a key and a value. It's going to be, then I'll call colors as map. Wow, I didn't know that this is a pretty good hand. It's going to be right. So then we're going to run a for loop in color. I need it, so I'll call a array. We have this. Right. Oh, why do I? Okay. List color integer color AR. All right. Oh, we need to return, so that's why it's throwing an error. Okay. Wait, so I'll keep it here. It's simple. Right. Then next we're gonna do. We need to insert the data, right? So we're gonna call color map dot put. The one good part is I can write in single line in Java. So instead of I'm doing a for loop, so I can do, I have a default value. You can see here, get or default, which I can use it. My key is a color here, and I can set as default value is 0. If it is a null, if I do not have it, so it will set as a null. So I can run this as an entire in a single line, right? Perfect. So we got this one. Then we're gonna do our for loop is done here. Then we're gonna iterate our map, right? So as we did it in our Python, same thing is gonna be color map dot values. We're gonna do it. There's a one easy way of doing it, and we need pairs plus it's the same thing as we are done in system, right? Count by 2. Okay. So I try to keep my mathematical part to do this. Okay, here we don't need to call out double slash. That's a one good part in Java. So it's single slash is always an integer. So let's run the test case here. Perfect. We got our two test cases are run through. The same test cases, what we are seeing there in a Python. Let's run this part. It's going to be easier. Excellent. All right, we are good to go. I guess we have seen it. If you have any challenge, I'll share in a video also my Git repository where you can capture, I can see the code. All right, and a couple of our test cases. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.